The game itself is the only teacher that never lies. That's the mindset Mike Tomlin is carrying into Jacksonville on Saturday night. And if you think a preseason opener is just a glorified scrimmage, think again. Because while the final score won't matter in the standings, the ripple effects of what happens or doesn't happen on that field could echo all the way to January. But here's where it gets controversial. Some fans argue that resting star players in August is smart preservation, while others call it soft and say it robs rookies of the chance to learn under real pressure. Which side are you on? Let's set the scene. The Steelers and Jaguars will kick off at 7:30 p.m. inside TIAA Bank Field. And yes, there will be an agenda. It just won't look like the one you'll see on a crisp October Sunday. August football is messy by design. Roster hopefuls flying around, coaches scribbling notes on grease boards, and the stadium PA announcer struggling to pronounce a seventh-round pick's last name. Yet beneath the chaos lies a crystal-clear objective. Part of being a good team is not beating your own butt, Tomlin said Tuesday after practice in Latrobe, Pennsylvania, repeating the phrase like a mantra. Translation: penalties, busted coverages, and pre-snap confusion are self-inflicted wounds, and the fastest way to lose a winnable game, preseason or not, is to gift-wrap yards for the opponent. So job one is simple. Play clean, assignment sound football. Everything else is gravy. Now, about those household names you won't see. Tomlin is essentially redshirting half of his projected Week 1 lineup, and he's refreshingly blunt about why. They need less runway to take off. In other words, veterans who've already proven they can execute in prime time don't need extra reps as much as the undrafted free agent praying for a helmet. The list of healthy scratches reads like a fantasy football cheat sheet. Chris Boswell, the kicker whose right leg has iced more games than most quarterbacks. DeShon Elliott and Joey Porter Jr., the new toys in the secondary who've already flashed in camp. Pat Freiermuth and Jonnu Smith, the tight end duo who give the offense chess-piece flexibility. Cam Heyward, the heartbeat of the defense and unofficial mayor of the locker room. Nick Herbig and TJ Watt, the edge-rushing tandem that keeps offensive coordinators awake at night. DK Metcalf, the blockbuster trade acquisition who's still learning Pittsburgh's playbook but doesn't need preseason snaps to prove he can run a 4.340. Patrick Queen, Jalen Ramsey, Darius Slay, and Aaron Rodgers, names so big they need no introduction. Isaac Seumalo, Jaylen Warren, and a handful of others who've already etched their roles in stone. Meanwhile, 4 more players, Calvin Austin III, Alex Highsmith, Corey Trice Jr., and Dante Kent, will sit because their bodies are still catching up after minor dings. Highsmith, for example, tweaked an ankle last week and has been limited to mental reps. The staff would rather give him 10 days of rehab than risk a setback for 4 snaps in August. Enter Logan Woodside, the journeyman cornerback, signed Thursday after rookie Will Howard broke a finger. Woodside won't be handed the keys, but he'll be in uniform and ready if the coaching staff decides the fourth quarter needs a steady hand. Whether or not he plays remains to be seen, Tomlin said. But that was the intention. Translation: if the game is a blowout either way, Woodside might hand the ball off 15 times and call it a night. So who's left to actually play? Everyone else. And they'll be graded on a microscope-level checklist that would make a NASA engineer blush. Tomlin rattled off the criteria like a grocery list. 1. Make routine plays routinely. Drop slants, missed tackles, and overthrown outs are non-starters. 2. Pre-snap cleanliness. False starts, illegal shifts, and neutral zone infractions are the fastest way to get a coach's blood pressure above 200. 3. Clock management. The offense must milk every second of the play clock without burning timeouts like confetti. 4. Defensive adaptability. If Jacksonville trots out a hurry-up look, the defense must adjust on the fly without looking like they're reading cue cards. 5. Situational IQ. 2-minute drills. Red zone calls. 3rd and long. Tomlin wants to see brains, not just brawn. And this is the part most people miss. Those situational reps can't be simulated in a quiet practice bubble. The crowd noise in Jacksonville will be 70,000 strong. The lights will be brighter, and the adrenaline will be real. We've worked hard to simulate some of those things, Tomlin admitted, but there's no substitute for in-stadium action. Think of it like learning to drive. You can practice parallel parking in an empty lot all day, but the first time you do it on a busy downtown street with honking taxis is when the real education begins. Special teams? Oh, they'll matter more than casual fans realize. Tomlin practically lit up when discussing the third phase, calling it a major component of this game. Here's why. When the roster shrinks from 90 to 53, the tiebreaker often isn't who runs crisper routes. It's who can sprint 40 yards downfield, shed a blocker, and tackle a jittery returner in space. Offensive linemen who can block on punt returns. Defensive backs who can hold the edge on kickoffs. These are the hidden gems that decide the back end of the roster. And this is where the controversy creeps back in. Some analysts argue that overemphasizing special teams devalues pure talent, forcing dynamic athletes to master niche roles that barely touch the ball. Others counter that versatility is the currency of modern football. And if you can't contribute on teams, you're a luxury, not a necessity. Where do you stand? Tomlin left the media with one last nugget of wisdom, aimed squarely at the rookies who think preseason is just a dress rehearsal. Oftentimes you get a young guy and he thinks his performance is going to be judged by his day job. Some of these supplementary things are as critical or more critical than their day job. Translation: that backup linebacker who pancakes a gunner on punt coverage might steal the roster spot from the fifth-round receiver who only knows one route tree. So when the lights go on Saturday night, don't just watch the ball. Watch the left tackle sprinting 50 yards to cover a kick. Watch the cornerback waving frantically to get the right personnel on the field. Watch the quarterback clapping to reset the play clock with 2 seconds left. Those are the moments that decide who's still wearing black and gold when the real games start. And here's the final thought to chew on. If a star-studded lineup